Hi, good morning. Last class we have discussed one theorem. We have discussed about linear functional. Also, we have discussed about hyperspaces. Okay, a hyperspace is a subspace of W of having dimension n minus 1. Now we have discussed one theorem. If W is a subspace of an n-dimensional vector space, then dimension of W plus dimension of W naught. W naught is the annihilator equal to dimension of V. Okay. Now we are going to prove one corollary. Today we are going to discuss actually two corollaries. And the first corollary is if W is a k-dimensional subspace of an n-dimensional vector space V, then W is the intersection of n minus k hyperspaces in V. Okay, we have to prove if W is a k-dimensional subspace of a n-dimensional vector space V, then W is the intersection of n minus k hyperspaces in V. That means, what is the meaning of that? W is the intersection of some spaces. W is intersection of some spaces and n minus k in number. That is, I varies from 1 to n minus k ai, and these each ai must be hyperspaces in V. Okay. Now each spaces are hyperspaces in V means each space having dimension n minus 1. So for proving this, we have to consider which is the space having dimension n minus 1. We have already proved if f is any linear functional, then null space of f is a hyperspace in V. Null space of f has a dimension n minus 1 and null space of f is a hyperspace in V. Therefore, here we are going to prove W is the intersection of n minus k null spaces of a linear function. Okay, that we will prove later. Okay. So, moving to proof, what is the given dimension of W equal to k and dimension of V equal to n. Okay, as in the proof of dimension of W plus dimension of W naught is equal to dimension of V, we are starting. Okay, let alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha k is a basis for W. Then as in the theorem 15, this basis can be extended to a basis alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n for V. Clear? And let f1, f2, etc. fn be dual basis for V corresponding to this basis. Okay? That is, this is a basis for V star. Therefore, fi of alpha j equal to delta ij, I equal to 1 if I equal to j, 0 if I not equal to j. All these things are we have discussed in theorem 15. Hope up to this is clear. Okay. Now, what we are going to prove is we assume that we claim that W is equal to set of all x belongs to V such that Fi of x equal to 0 for all I 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. We are going to prove this. W equal to set of all x belongs to V such that Fi of x equal to 0 for all I greater than or equal to k plus 1. Clear? So for this, first we have to prove W is a subset of this one. Then we have to prove this is a subset of W. Okay. So first we are going to prove W is a subset of this one. For this we have to take an element from W. Okay, therefore let x belongs to W and we have to prove that this x belongs to this set. Okay. Now let x belongs to W. Then x you can write as C1, C2, etc. C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus etc. plus Ck alpha k, because alpha 1 we have assumed that alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha k is a basis for W. Okay. Now what is fi of x? Fi of x for I greater than or equal to k plus 1. Fi of x equal to fi of alpha 1 c1 alpha 1 plus c2 alpha 2 plus etc plus cn alpha n, and which is equal to c1 into fi of alpha. As fi's are linear, you can write like this. But fi's are dual bases, and for I greater than or equal, we have this result fi of alpha j equal to delta ij if I 1 if I equal to j. Okay, here i's are, here I greater than k plus 1 and all alpha I are less than k. Therefore fi each term is 0. Therefore, fix equal to 0 for every I greater than or equal to k plus 1. Therefore, if x belongs to W, then we get fix equal to 0 for every I greater than or equal to k plus 1. Therefore, x belongs to, set of all x belongs to V such that fix equal to 0, 1 k plus 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal. This implies W is a subset of this set. Okay. Now what about the converse? Conversely, we have to take one member from this set and we have to prove this belongs to W. Okay. So conversely, suppose that let x belongs to V be such that fix equal to 0 for I greater than or equal to k plus 1. That is k plus 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. We are assuming this and we have to prove that x belongs to W. Okay, now x belongs to V. As x belongs to V, you can write x as a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n, because we assume that alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n is a basis for V. Therefore, this alpha you can write like this. Sorry, this x you can write like this. Clear? Now, if you consider fi of x is equal to fi of this one and fi of alpha 1 plus etc. plus, okay, and which is same as each by definition fi of alpha equal to 1 for all other alpha I, fi of alpha is 0. Okay, therefore this is actually ci fi of alpha I, and which is equal to ci. Clear? Because fi's are dual bases, therefore fi of alpha j equal to 0 if I not equal to j. Okay, if I not equal to j, therefore thus we get, but fi of alpha is 1, therefore ci, therefore fi of x equal to ci. Now given fi of x, we have assumed that fi of x equal to 0 for I greater than or equal to k plus 1. Therefore fi of x equal to 0 for every I greater than or equal to k plus 1. That means ci greater than or equal to this implies ci greater than or equal to 0 for I greater than or equal to k plus 1. That means ck plus 1, ck plus 2, etc. cn equal to 0. Therefore, our x become for all these ck plus 1, etc. cn are 0. Therefore, this step become x equal to c1 alpha 1 plus c2 alpha 2 plus etc. plus cn alpha n. That is x is linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha k. Alpha k. This implies x belongs to W. Thus, we get set of all x belongs to V such that fix equal to 0, I greater than or equal to k plus 1 is contained in W, and which implies W equal to. Earlier we get this is W is a subset of this one. Now this is a subset of W implies W equal to set of all x belongs to V such that this condition holds. That is, this is same as set of all x belongs to V such that fix equal to 0, k plus 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. Now, what is actually this set? Set of all x belongs to V such that fix equal to 0. What is null space of f? Null space of f is set of all x belongs to V such that f of x equal to 0. Okay. Null space of f. Set of all x belongs to V such that f of x equal to 0. Here, set of all x belongs to V, fi of x equal to 0. That means this is actually set of all x belong fi of x equal to 0 is actually null space of fi. Therefore, this is actually set of all x belongs to n fi k plus 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. This is actually set of 4 x belongs to n fi 1 k plus 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. Now what is the meaning of that? This is actually intersection of all null spaces from k plus 1 to n. That is intersection I varies from k plus 1 to n f I. Now we know that null space of a linear functional is a hyperspace and W is the intersection of how many numbers? K plus 1 to n. K plus 1 to n. How many numbers? This is actually n minus k in number. Therefore, W is the intersection of n minus k hyperspaces in V. This is the result. Okay. W is the intersection of n minus k hyperspaces. Okay. Now moving to next corollary. Next corollary says that if W1 and W2 are subspaces of a finite dimensional vector space, then W1 equal to W2 if and only if W1 annihilator of W1 is equal to annihilator of W2. That is W1 not equal to W2 not. Moving to the proof. If W1 equal to W2, then clearly W1 not equal to W2 not. Now we have to prove W1 not equal to W2 not implies W1 equal to W2. Okay. For this, we have one result. We have a result. P implies Q. For proving P implies Q, it is enough to prove the method of contradiction. That is negation Q implies negation P. So here we want to prove W1 not equal to W2 implies W1 equal to W. This is what we have to prove. For this we are assuming the negation. That is W1 not equal to W2 implies W1 not equal to W2 not. This is what we are going to prove. Okay. Therefore, conversely, suppose that W1 not equal to W2 and we have to prove that W1 not equal to W2 not. This implies our converse part, that is W1 not equal to W2 not implies W1 equal to W2. Okay, clear? Now, suppose W1 not equal to W2. What is the meaning of that? W1 not equal to W2. A not equal to B means either A is contained in B or B is contained in A. Okay. A not equal to B means both A and B are some sub. Here W1 and W2 are subspace of A. Suppose A and B are subset of some S. A not equal to B means either A is not contained in B or B is not contained in A. Sorry. A not equal to B means either A is not contained in B or B is not contained in A. Clear? So we are assuming this. Suppose A not equal to B. We are assuming A not. That means we get either here W1 not equal to W2. Therefore, either we have W1 not contained in W2 or W2 not contained in W1. Okay. So without loss of generality, we can assume that W2 not contained in W1. So if we are getting W2 contained in W1, we just rename W1 and W2 so that we get W2 not contained in W1. Okay, that's why we are saying without loss of generality. Without loss of generality. Suppose we have two sets such that A not equal to B, and here we are getting A is not contained in B. In that case, we are assuming, suppose you take B as rename A as B and B as A. Then we get B is not contained in A. Similarly, okay. So with that's what we are saying without loss of generality. Without loss of generality, we can assume that W2 is not contained in W1, and we are going to prove that W1 not is not contained in W2 not. Okay, we are assuming this one. W2 is not contained in W1. Now let BW1 is a basis for W1. Basis for W1. BW1 means alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha k is a basis for W1. Now W1 is a subspace, therefore as in theorem 15 you can extend this to a basis for V, and this let it be V. And as per theorem this has a dual basis F1, F2, etc. F. This is a dual basis corresponding to W1. Now we have assumed that W1 is not contained in W2. That means there exists a alpha belongs to W2 such that alpha not belongs to W1. Okay. Now if you assume there exists a alpha belongs to W2, alpha not belongs to W1. Now what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? If alpha belongs to W, then alpha is a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha k. Alpha not belongs to W1 means alpha, and alpha belongs to V. That means there exists some alpha S where S is greater than or equal to k plus 1 such that alpha is a linear combination of this alpha is a linear combination of these alphas. Okay, therefore that means there exists a n greater than or equal to k plus 1 such that this alpha s belongs to W2 and alpha s not belongs to W. Thus we get there exists a alpha s belongs to W2 such that alpha s not belongs to W. Now if you consider dual basis B star for V star, then in this you consider the functional Fs. Okay. Now what about Fs of alpha I? Fs of alpha I equal to 0 for every I equal to 1 to etc. k, because our S is greater than or equal to k plus 1. Therefore, Fs of alpha equal to 0 for every I varies from 1 to etc. Okay? Therefore, Fs of alpha equal to 0 for every alpha belongs to W1. Because every alpha belongs to W1 is a linear combination of alpha I. Fi of Fs of alpha equal to 0 means Fs of alpha equal to 0 for every alpha belongs to W1. This implies Fs belongs to W1 not. Now, what about Fs of alpha? Alpha S. Fs of alpha S is Fs of alpha s is 1, which is not equal to 0. This implies Fs is not belongs to W2 not, because alpha s belongs to W2. For this alpha s, Fs of alpha is not equal to 0. This implies Fs not belongs to W2 not. Thus we get an Fs belongs to W1 not, that not belongs to W2 not. This implies W1 not is not a subset of W2 not. Therefore, we get W1 not, thus we get W2, W1 not equal to W2 implies W1 not equal to W2 not. Okay, that means W1 equal to W1 not equal to W2 not implies W1 equal to W2. This is our converse part. Okay, you have to clear this portion. Okay, I'll repeat here once again. Given W2 is not contained in W1. Okay, that means there exists some element in W2 such that that element not belongs to W1. But alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha k is a basis for W1. So some element not belongs to W1 means that is a that that is not be linear combination of these elements. That means you can find some alpha s such that alpha s belongs to W2. Okay, but this alpha s is clearly not belongs to W1. Hope this is clear. Okay, that's all for today's class. In the next class, we will discuss some problems.